way.
Let's proceed. The witness is just outside.
Mind the witness is still under oath. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, my lord.
You know.
Understood, ma'am.
My lord, last time when we adjourned, my lord, I had put the version to the witness regarding the picture which appears in Exhibit S on page 17. However, my lord, the date was not depicted in this picture, the date on which this photo was taken. However, when I discussed with my learned friend, Mr. Baloy, he confirmed that it does appear, my lord. I think we had a problem with the beaming on Friday. May I just be assisted regarding that? Because the date which appears on Exhibit S, it doesn't show what is the date for. My lord, you can go to page 17. It just says IMG 2014-26, 17, 28, 39 slash...
Sorry, it's 2014?
24 IMG dash 2014 10 26 dash 17 28 39 dash 001. So my lord, when you see these numbers, they don't show, whereas when you open it from the laptop, it shows the date and time when the picture was.
And what was the time?
Was
17?
taken. The time is 17:28, 39 minutes, my lord. 39 seconds.
Mr. Baloy, is that the position?
Indeed, my lord.
So the date this photo was taken was the 26th of October.
Yes, my lord.
2014.
Yes.
That's 17, 28, 39.
Yes.
Sergeant Mabasa also testified about
Yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah, that's the term. That's the version, my lord, I was trying to refer the witness to in terms of the time and the location where.
But the location also, does it show the location?
It doesn't show the location. However, my learned friend can confirm from that, because we're trying to find out from the investigating officer if they can be able to show that.
Mr. Baloy?
my lord, we did confirm with the downloader. There's a specific function on the camera that has to be activated for the location to be shown. It's a location function on the camera, and it appears that that function was either not activated or this device did not have that function. So the location cannot be determined.
Yes, Ms. Mshololo, so what are you saying?
Thank you, my lord. My lord, the accused version is that at the time when the picture was taken, he was at George Koch, my lord, in Johannesburg.
Yeah, so that version is not confirmed by forensic evidence that the location is George Koch, but his assertion is that he was at George Koch. Are we agreed on that?
Yes, my lord. And according to the picture, that is buildings that are depicted in this picture, my lord. Yes. That's what I wanted the witness to comment, if the buildings depicted here are that one of Soto Hostel, or he doesn't know, because the version of the witness is that the accused was at Soto Hostel at that time.
Is it Soto Hostel or George Koch Hostel?
It's Soto Hostel, but it's in Vosloorus, my lord.
Yeah, but it can't be George Koch. I know George Koch very well.
Yes, my lord. The version for the witness is that...
Is it a George Koch Hostel? That's all I want to know. Or Basotho Hostel.
What is
From the
depicted?
evidence I had, Basotho Hostel is where? Phosphorus. That's it. Now, George Koch Hostel is different. It's a different entity from Basotho Hostel.
Yes.
That's it.
Then what I was asking from the witness, my lord, I was referring to him to say this is not Basotho, but it is George Koch. What is depicted in this picture, my lord?
Mr. Maloi, this witness, as I recall, he has already answered that version. He said, if he says so, it's okay, but I saw him. You want us to play it back? Just play it back. Because I heard that.
That version has already been
Refuted.
put to the witness, and yeah, his answer was that the accused was there at Phosphorus.
Okay, I will silent. Just play it back, ma'am. Mr. Stenographer.
And that he saw him there.
Hello? Friday. Was it Friday? Sorry. Wednesday, whatever.
Wednesday, yeah.
The last time we said.
Well, the note that we have of what was put to the witness was that the photo was taken on 26 October 2015, and it was taken at George Koch Hostel around 1728 on the 26th of October 2014. And further, the accused says he was never at the Zungu hostel in Phosphorus, that he was at work, and thereafter he went to his flat. The witness said he was indeed at Phosphorus hostel.
Do you recall the evidence as such?
Yes, my lord, I do recall, but the only thing that I wanted to confirm with the witness, my lord, is what is depicted in this picture, that it is not Basotho Hostel, but it is George Koch.
Yeah, show him. So that's.
Yes. Thank you, my lord. Can I be assisted by the station? Mr. Zungu, can you look at that picture? It's on page 17 of Exhibit S. Do you confirm that the building depicted in that picture is not that one of hostel in Phosphorus?
Uma ubheka lesi sithombe nombuka lesi sithombe lesi-ke la ku page 17 uyavuma yini ukuthi leli bhilidi leli akusilona leli elase Basotho Hostel ePhosphorus?
Ngalo ukuphikisana nalo angisazi ukuthi sasikuphi le ndawo kubhaliwe ukuthi George Koch. Ngeke ngikwazi ukukhuluma ngehostel ngalibona ukuthi kuphi. Kodwa engushoyo accused number 1, accused number 5 and accused number 3 ukuthi bona engibabonayo kulesithombe.
The only thing I can comment on is that it's accused number 3 and number 5 that I can see on this picture, but I cannot recall as to where we were when this picture was taken because it's not written as to whether it's Phosphorus or George Koch.
Okay, but that is not the building for Phosphorus.
But actually, building lase Phosphorus
Basotho Hostel.
Lase George Koch Plaza.
I don't know. I either don't know the George Koch building.
Well, can you answer my question? Is that Phosphorus hostel or not?
Le evelela.
The building.
Ibility leli elase hostel lase Phosphorus noma cha?
Ngeke ngikwazi ukuconfirma lokho ngoba angangabheki onke ama building. Building engilazi ngangikulo, indle engangikuyo.
I cannot comment on that because I wasn't looking at all the buildings there. The only building that I know is the one of the house in which I was in.
Okay, the accused version is that that picture was taken in George Koch hostel where he was at 1725.
25 or 28?
1728
yes.
On the 26th of October 2014.
Akushoyo ke umsolo yena ke ukuthi lana ke ukuthathwa kwalesi sithombe lesi ngo 1728 ngalela langa la 26 of October 2014 wayese George Koch.
Do you have any comment?
comment yami ngathi ukuthi wayise ngo 5:05 wayise hostel eFosloras noma eGeorge Koch angimbona ngo 5:30 isikhathi ngibone ngaso ku early before 5:30 na after seku late ntambama ngabe bengena wangesiyena ku 5:30 njengoba ushilo.
When I saw him at Fosloras, it was not 5:30, it was earlier and later on. So it was not at 5:30 when I saw him in Fosloras, as you have said.
Thank you, my lord. I've got no further questions.
Yes, sir. Are you through with this witness?
Thank you, my lord. I have no further questions, my lord.
Okay, thanks. Any re-examination?
If I may clear certain aspects that have arisen from the cross-examination of my learned colleagues with the witness as the court pleases. Now, Mr. Zungu, when you allegedly saw accused number 1 and 2 at Fosloras Hostel on the 26th of October 2014, what were their hairstyles?
Ngathi ubona ke umsolo wokuqala kanye nowesibili eFosloras ngazo i26 kaOctober 2014 imaphi ama hairstyles ababe nawo.
Ngangawabhekanga ama hairstyle ngicomment lokho.
I wasn't looking at the hairstyles. I won't be able to comment on them or about them.
But specifically, say for example, accused number 2, if he had dreadlocks, you will stand up that at the time he had dreadlocks, correct?
Uma kuwukuthi asithi ke u-accused number 2 wayenama dreadlocks into leyo ke eyayizogqama ke ukuthi wayenama dreadlocks angithi
uthi wayena dreadlocks
uthi uma asithi yeah asithi yes
afanele ngoba ngimbonanga ngicomment kulokho
as I've already said that I couldn't see that, so I won't be able to comment on that.
And then let's talk about the gold inlets on the tooth, especially for accused number 2. Did you notice that he had any gold inlets on his teeth or one of the tooth on the 26th of October 2014?
Asigxila ke na ke number 2 ingaba wabona yini noma waqaphela yini ukuthi wayene gold awayenayo emazinyweni noma kwelinye lamazinyo akhe. I think I won't be able to recall whether he had it or not, so I won't be able to comment on that.
And also regarding accused number 2, did you notice whether or not he had tattoos on his person, on his arms, on his limbs? Did you see that?
Ukuthi wayena tattoo number 2
njoba igqoke iskipa ihood eblack enemlanga ama long sleeve ngangengikwazi ukumbona ngaphakathi ezandleni zakhe.
As he was wearing a black hoodie with long sleeves, I would not have been able to see on his hands or on his arms.
Now, pertaining to the time when you went to buy alcohol at Tops, do you recall what time it was on that Sunday, the 26th of October?
I thought you were clarifying something. Please.
It's clarification, my lord. It's important.
Even about the Tops?
Yes, it's important the time they went there, my lord.
What are you clarifying? The time?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear you.
Ngicela ungaphawuli ngesikhathi ngoba ngikhumbula isikhathi kwakubani njengoba ngangishilo eqaleni futhi kuwo lo mbuzo ngasho ukuthi ngeke ngazi ukuthi isikhathi kwaku 2:10 kwaku 10:3.
May I not comment about the time because I did say that I don't know what time it was, and I think I was asked by you that question, and I said that I won't be able to say whether it was 2:10 or 3:10.
Now, regarding where accused number 2 was staying in October 2014, do you know exactly where he was staying?
No, I have no knowledge of that. But what I do know is that he was also visiting.
And do you perhaps know where he was employed in October 2014?
No, I have no knowledge. I heard it from you.
Now, your testimony is that at some time after 9 o'clock, you saw the people that you saw walking into Gwabini's room, 2 of them handing firearms to Gwabini. Do you recall that aspect of your testimony?
Uyakhumbula ubufakazi bakho umuthi ke kunalabantu abangena ke ekameleni kaGwabini ababili kubona ke basebendlulisela ngeibhamkeni uGwabini.
Yebo.
Yes.
Now, evidence led in this court from the witnesses Tumelo Madlala, Zandile Khumalo, and Thokozisi Twala is the following, and not all of them said the same thing, but I'll summarize it.
Kunabofakazi ke abahlukile uTumelo, uMthokozisi, uZandile. Akusibona bonke ke abasho lokho kodwa nje ngizosummarize.
That two intruders entered the house on the 26th of October at the Khumalo household.
Ukuthi ke kunabantu ababili abangena kwaKhumalo ngazo i26 ka October.
And one of the intruders, the first one who is described as being shot with dreadlocks, and according to the gestures of witnesses, the dreadlocks were up to the ear neck level. He was dark, he had big eyes that were protruding, he had high cheekbones, and that he had a shiny skin, and that suspect or intruder was in possession of a firearm.
As a good piece, my lord, I know my learned friend is now having a third bite at the,
Yeah,
at the
you know
apple.
what? Then I'll be told I'm interfering.
This version has previously been put to the witness when he had a second bite at the cherry.
Yeah, this is
So
an abusage of the system. Mr. Ra-
The same version is now
Wait.
put again.
It's an abusage of the system. You are aware of that. Because you stood up and you said you wanted to clarify some issues arising from Ms. Mshololo's cross-examination. Now we're starting the whole file again.
I didn't say
Now we're starting about Zandile and Tumelo. This is what they said. And you cross-examined on that. Just be fair.
I didn't cross-examine on this aspect, my lord, but when I stood up, I didn't say specifically to the evidence of Ms.
So you're
Mshololo.
clarifying the whole evidence now.
I said, coming out from my three colleagues, because certain issues arose, my lord. If I may go to one of them, for example, let's go to this one.
No, okay, do whatever you want to do. Go on, as you want.
I'm not doing what I want to do, my lord. I'm doing things within the procedure of this court. If I had a second bite, I'll know which aspects I cross-examined on. I wouldn't repeat myself. That's why this I was writing as he was testifying, answering questions from my three colleagues on the left-hand side. Now, on the 24th of October, it was testified that one of the suspects was wearing a hat. Did you see accused number 1 and 2 allegedly at Fosloras wearing a hat?
24th October.
26th of October, I'm sorry.
Ufakazi ke ukuthi nge26 ka October omunye wabasolwa ke wayefake isigqoko nabo khona kwambona wayefake isigqoko alelo langa lelo.
usho kuphi refer kwabakhulupalo namalabade betestify ngaphambi kwami.
Referring to the witnesses, the Khumalos or the people that testified before me.
People that testified before you,
Yeah,
that were in the house.
Angikwazi ukukhomenta ngabo ngangekho kakhumalo.
I can't comment on what they said. I wasn't at the Khumalo household.
Now, in one of the cross-examinations from Counsel for 3 and 5, you were asked about photos that you saw in the newspapers. What I need to clarify from you, was it photos or identity kits that you saw in the newspaper that you said one of them resembled accused number 2's appearance?
Kulokushilo ke ngaloko owakubona noma izithombe wayibona ke kuma newspaper kwakuyithombe noma kwakuyi identity kit le owayibona kwi newspaper.
It's identity kit.
Identity kit. That was done by Steenkamp.
As the court pleases, my lord, those are the clarifications, questions I had. I'm indebted. Thank you.
Yes. Any re-examination? Mr. Baloyi.
As the court pleases, my lord. Mr. Zungu, the sum total of the cross-examination by the defense amounts to the following: that your evidence that you saw accused number 1 up to 5 at Foslora's hostel on the 26th of October 2014 in the circumstances that you have described, and the role that you attributed to each of the accused, as the defense put it, that your evidence in this regard is a fabrication.
Okushiwo abameli ke ubona kumibuzo abayiphonse kwena ke ukuthi lokho okushilo wena umfakazi bakho la enkantolo bokuthi wababona ke abasolwa kusuka kuyena umsolwa wokuqala kuyofika ke umsolwa wesihlanu nokuthi ke yikuphi okwenziwa umsolwa ngamunye ngalelo langa lelo ke ukuthi nje yinto nje wena oyifabricated into yakhayo noma uyakhile kwamanye amagama bathi akukho lokho okushoyo ngabamanga abasolwa.
Now, do you have any reason or any motive to fabricate the evidence against the accused?
Ingabe unasizathu yini noma ikhona yini inhloso nayo yokuthi nje ungabakhela itulo nje noma ungathi nje ukhuluma ongekho ngabo?
Anginalo ngincane lokubakhela itulo lami.
I not even the smallest of motives to fabricate anything against them.
And furthermore, that on the basis of that fabrication, that you approach General Leshabani,
nokuthi ke ngokuqhubekeka ke kulelo tulo lelo noma kulokho okwakhayo ke ngakubo ukuthi wase uya ku General Leshabane.
also on the basis of that fabrication that you approach the Commissioner of Police,
Wase wabe usiya nakuyena ke umcommissioner wamaphoyisa.
that also on the basis of that fabrication you interacted with Warrant Officer Makubo and Lieutenant Colonel Butelezi.
Wakhulumisana naye uwarrant officer Makubo kanye naye uLieutenant Colonel Butelezi.
Now, would you go to such lengths to pursue this matter on the basis of this fabrication as it was put to you by the defense?
Na njengoba ke abameli beshilo ke kuwena ukuthi ke kunalelo tulo ke lakhaya ngabona ke abasolwa ubungase uze uhambe lelo banga lelo noma ke uhambe wenze konke nje yonke leyo mizamo leyo kule nhloso yakho ke yokuthi wena ke khona ke ubakhela itulo.
Objection. It's suggested that on behalf of all the accused,
Yeah.
on the basis of the fact that it was put to him, that his version is a fabrication. Now, the extension thereto is, on the basis of that fabrication, would he then have approached the people that the state said he approached, Makubo, the National Commissioner and all the others? On behalf of accused number 3, he never said that. So what is now being put to the witness here as something that could have been suggested by accused number 3 is misleading.
Yes, Mr. Baloi.
Well, that is the essence, but we'll just maybe qualify it then to the latest cross-examination by counsel for accused number 5.
Uthi ke mhlambe ubahlanganise bonke ke kodwa uzobuya ke athi ke imibuzo ke uqeda ke uphontsha kwena ke ummeli kaMsola wesihlanu.
Kubo bonke abathi ngibaqambela amanga angenazizathu sokubasukela nesizathu sokuthi ngihambe ngikhuluma ngabo kabuhlungu kangaka mhlambe engusho la kusho iqiniso elenzeka.
All those that maybe are alleging that I'm telling lies, lying about them, would not have done this or said such things about them. I'm telling the truth and that which happened.
Madam, I'm not even so sure whether the states understand the basis of my objection.
Well, you know, it particularizes the assertion or the question with regard specifically to accused number 5's assertions through the counsel that it's a fabrication.
Thank you, madam. I think it should be put in that way. Maybe that way.
I thought you did.
Yes.
You didn't do that, sir.
Yes, that's what I've just done, my lord.
Let's talk Shangan, please.
Counsel for accused number 5 put it to you that the incident that you testified about as per page 48 and 49 of the report, which pertains to the proceedings of the 7th of November 2023.
Is it September or November?
September.
Yes.
7 September 2023.
I'm on the ball, Mr. Umar.
Yes, thank you. That when you were coming from the shop on the 18th of November 2019, that one Mr. Ntuli, who was with one Mr. Nkazimulo, whom you testified that they are related to accused number 1 and 5, produced a firearm through the window of a parked car. It was put to you by counsel for accused number 5 that that incident did not occur and that you are fabricating this incident.
mayelana nobufakazi bakho ke obethuleke la enkantolo mayelana nalesigameko ke esenzeka ngelanga owabuya ngalo esitolo wasuthi ke wabona ke uNkazimulo kanye naye ke umnumzana Ntuli futhi kukhishwe isibhamu kuyona ke imoto emile ummeli kaMsola wesihlanu uthe lokho akaze kwenzeke.
Now, what is your comment?
Uthini lokho?
Nesiqiniseko sesiphelele ukuthi kwenzeka ngoba ngazi ngakhuluma no-accused number 1 mayelana nalolu daba futhi ngahamba ngaya e-Foslora Society yaseJimmiston ngiyodibana noGwabini emva kwenzeka ngalolu daba.
I am very much certain that it happened because after that I spoke to accused number 1 and I also went to the site of Jemmiston of Foslora to go and speak to Gwabini with regards to that.
Now, on the proposition by the defense, in particular counsel for accused number 5, that your evidence is fabricated, you testified on page 95 of the proceedings of 11 September 2023 that you had to move your people to safety.
Ushilo ke kona ke lokho okushiwo kuyena ke ummeli accused number 5 ukuthi mayela ke naloko ke kwase kuphoqeka ke ukuthi umndeni wakho uhambiseke useke kwindawo ye safety noma kwindawo e safe evikelekile.
Yebo.
Yes.
Now, would you take such a step on the basis of fabricated evidence?
Ubungakwenza lokho uma bekuwukuthi lokho okhulumayo kuyinto engekho.
Ngangeke ngikwazi ukwenza lokho.
I would not have done that.
Now, when cross-examined by counsel for the accused, you refer to the accused mainly by their names, such as Muzi when you're referring to accused number 1, Mafika when referring to accused number 2, Gada when referring to accused number 3, and Ukani when referring to accused number 4. Can you just clarify, where did you get to know those names?
Bekuthi ke uma ubuzwa imibuzo ke ibona ke abameli bose uthi uma ukhuluma ngabo abasolwa ukhulume uma ukhuluma ngo-accused number 1 uthi Muzi, accused number 2 uthi Mafika, unumber 3 uthi Gadla, unumber 5 bose uthi Nkani. Amagama owathathephi lawo?
Ngasho ukuthi amagama engazi ngawo namagama engathola kubo eFoslora besingabizana lamagama abawabizayo.
I would say that that's the name by which I know them and names that I got from them in Foslora, and we were not referring to each other by the names that they are now calling themselves by.
Shuthi amagama abo asemakhaya noma ngababagama ababizwa ngawo ajwayelekile.
I would say that those are their names from back home, or those are the usual names by which they are being called.
Now, in cross-examination by Mr. Ramusipili for accused number 1, during the proceedings of the 11th of September 2023, at page 54, lines 5 to 6, you testify that you knew Gadla or Carlos as a Butelezi.
Uthe uGadla umazi ke nanjengo Carlos noma ke uButhelezi.
Can you clarify as to why you say you know accused number 3 as Butelezi?
Ungasho ukuthi kungani ke uthi umazi nanjengo Butelezi uaccused number 3?
Ukuthi wakamncube bengakwazi ngakuzwa mayifika mhlambe kule nkantolo ukuthi wakamncube bengazi ukuthi uGadla wakaButhelezi.
Okay, that he is from the Mncube clan, I didn't know that. I only got to know that when I got to this court. What I knew is that he is from the Buthelezi.
Or related kwaButhelezi kodwa bengimazi ukuthi ngakaButhelezi.
Or that he's related to Buthelezi, but what I knew was that he is a Buthelezi.
Iyafana naku accused number 5 futhi bengingamazi ukuthi ungakaNtuli bengimazi ukuthi ungakaZungu.
Same applies with accused number 5. I didn't know that I belonged to the Ntuli clan, but that he belonged to the Zungu clan.
Now, all counsel cross-examine you as to who was in the red car when you went to buy alcohol at Tops.
Bonke ke abameli bakubuze ukuthi obani bonke ababekhona kuleya moto ibomvu nkathi niya kwa Tops niyothenga utshwala.
Can you clarify as to who was in the red car when you went to buy alcohol at Tops, as far as you can remember?
Ngokukhumbula kwakho ke usungachaza ke ukuthi kwakuwobani ababekhona kuleya moto ibomvu nkathi niya eTops.
Emotweni ebomvu sasu5 kuyo phakathi ngangwesi5 futhi mina.
There were 5.
Abanye.
Sorry, there were 5 of us inside that vehicle. I was the 5th one, and there were 4 others.
Ulabo accused number 3.
Amongst them,
wayekhona.
Sorry, amongst them, accused number 3, who is Gadla, he was there.
Abanye noma ngasabakhumbula ukuthi kwangobani, kodwa ngiyazi ukuthi abanye babo babekhona, kodwa noma ngasakhumbula ukuthi ubani njengo driver wayo. Accused number 3 wayekhona.
I'm unable to remember the others as to who they were. Although yes, they were there, but I can't say who they were. There was a driver, but I can't recall who. But accused number 3 specifically, I know that he was there.
Now, the counsel for accused number 3 and 4 put it to that the owner of the red car is one Nyamuza. Do you know such a person?
Bashilo ke kwena abameli bakhe accused number 3 no number 4 ukuthi umnikazi ke wayo leya moto Nyamuza.
Angimazi.
I don't know him.
Counsel for accused number 3 and 4 put it to that Mantizwani Kanyile appears on page 47. Now, do you know any person by that name?
Bashilo ke kwena ke umeli ka number 3 no number 4 ukuthi uMantizwane Kanyile uyena ke la ku page 47. Uyamazi ke umuntu onalelo gama.
Ngiyakuphikisa lokho, umuntu okuleya page number 47 yimi.
I dispute that. The person who is in that picture 47, it's myself.
No, they said that the person wearing red.
No, I am not.
No, I have no knowledge of him.
Yes. And it was further put to you that
Objection, ma'am.
yeah, I'm sorry.
We never suggested that the person who is wearing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll just rephrase that. That the person that appears on page 47 that you say it's yourself, it's Mantizwane Kanyile. I'm sorry.
Guti lo oku page 47. Lo othi wena uwena. Kuthiwa uyena ke lo ekuthiwa uMantizwane Kanyile, hayi lo ogqoke ezibomvu, kodwa lo wena othi wena. Kuthiwa cha akusiwena kodwa uMantizwane Kanyile.
Ngiyakuphikisa lokho.
I dispute that.
It was further put it to you that the person that appears on page 47 in red, it's Ngicelimpilo Ndawonge. Do you know any person by that name?
Nokuthi lona ke ogqoke ezibomvu ke Celimpilo Ndawonde. Ndawonge.
Yes. Do you know any person by that name?
Uyamazi umuntu onalelo gama lelo?
Cha.
No.
It was also further put it to you by counsel that photo 47 was taken by one Mr. Mabungu Ntuli.
Nokuthi ke umthobelo lesi sithombe lesi 47 kwakuMabhungu Ntuli.
Ngeke ngiphikise ukuthi ubani wayithatha isithombe njoba ngitshelwe yini ukuthi sasise full slorus la sithatha lesithombe kodwa ukuthi ubani wayisithatha igama lakhe ngeke ngisho ukuthi ubani angimazi.
I wouldn't dispute or say as to who was the person who took the picture, as I was told by them that where the location here is 4 slaughterhouses. But as to who the taker of the picture is, I don't know.
It was further put it to that this picture on page 47 was taken at a place called Lisedi in Foslores,
ukuthi ke futhi ke la isithombe lesi sathathwa khona ke kuselisedi eFosloras
which is near a shopping center.
eseduze ke ne-shopping center.
Now, on your way to Tops or on the way back, did you stop at any other place?
Endleleni ke eya eTops noma uma nibuya eTops ukhona la enama khona yini?
Objection, madam.
Yeah.
That is going to be new evidence that is now being introduced via the back door.
Yeah, that's new evidence.
Well, we're not going to belabor the point, Mano, but they did introduce the issue of Lisedi, and we just want to find out as to whether did they stop at any place called Lisedi. But Mr. Mano, it is neither here nor there.
Yeah.
What we can perhaps do is to rephrase the question. Did you stop anywhere on your way to Tops or
Now,
on your way back?
if you want to rephrase, you've got to say, did you stop at a place called Lesedi?
Lesedi.
Because that's pertinently what was put.
As a court, please, we're indebted to the court. Did you stop at the place called Lisedi?
Khona indawo ethi mabizwa kuthiwa ilisedi la enama khona.
noma ngayazi indawo ukuthi yini ngizwela icourt ukuthi lisedi
Although
kodwa sahamba sima endleleni.
Although I don't know the place, but I heard it here in court that it's Lisedi. But as we were driving, we would stop, now and then stop.
Yes.
Engifuna ukucacisa lapho ukuthi safika uma ngathi ngozi la.
Again, that is new evidence. That is new evidence because it never emerged under cross-examination whether or not there were instances where they stopped on their way or on their way back from Tops.
Are you saying the new evidence is elicited and it is uttered in response by Mr. Zungu? That's the new evidence. That's the new evidence you're referring to.
Yes,
That Mr. Zungu is proffering new evidence.
yes, but through the state. Through the assistance of the state. Like, in other words, what I'm saying is the state is now introducing new evidence through what it calls re-examination. Because this is some of the aspects that should have been said in his evidence in chief or conversed in his evidence in chief.
Yes, Mr. Baloyi.
Mr. Court, please, my lord. The issue of Lisedi was introduced by counsel during cross-examination, but the witness has already said that they, has already responded to, to that aspect. I will not take it any further. It's neither here nor there, my lord.
I would therefore, my lord, request and with due respect that on account of the fact that the state is conceding from what I can gather from what he's saying, that piece of evidence that is now being elicited in this re-examination be disregarded because that's now amounts to new evidence.
Okay, I'll disregard it.
We'll just ask the witness to clarify this aspect. Just once, can you just clarify, do you know anything about a place called Lisedi?
So
Which is near a shopping complex.
khona yini indawo yaziyo eyilisedi eseduze ne-complex, ne-shopping complex?
Angwazi ama section akhona nguzwe la ecourt ukuthi ilisedi.
I don't know the sections there. I only heard it here in court that it's called Lisedi.
Yes, but do you know anything about that place?
Ukhona okwaziyo ngaleyo ndawo leyo?
Akukho ngikwaziyo ngayo.
No, I know nothing about it.
Now, if we can just deal with your affidavit, paragraph 21 of your affidavit, exhibit AA. You were cross-examined by counsel for accused number 4 as to why you say, or why it is stated in paragraph 21 of your affidavit that the person who appears on photo 7, 170, 17, and 2 and 23 is Mtokusizeni Mapisa.
Ubuziweke ukuthi kungani uthi ke lo muntu lona ke okule ithombe u7 u170 17 no23 ukuthi kungani uthi lo muntu lo umthokoziseni Mapisa.
Just show those pictures. It's page 7. Yes, that one, and well, there's no page 170.
17.
Then page 17. And page 23. And page 23.
Okay.
You were asked as to why you state in your affidavit that the person who appears there is Mtokozizeni Mapisa.
Ubuziweke ukuthi kungani uthi lo muntu lona ke okule ithombe lezi uthi umthokoziseni Mapisa. 7 170 akekho u17 kanye no23.
Ku page 7 ucacisa ukuthi akusiyena angembona akusiyena umthokoziseni Mapisa.
On page 7 I did explain that no, this is not Mtokoziseni Mapisa.
Or ukuthi kungani ngifakele kwi statement sami ngengazi inamba njoba niyibiza ukuthi 7170 kodwa mangisibuka lapha page number 7 akusiyena ngikhulume ngo page 17 engibone khona accused number 3 and accused number 5.
Okay. And then as you make mention of numbers here, and I also mentioned in my statement that it's page 7, I then wouldn't know as to how the numbering goes, but I then made mention of page 17 where I see accused number 3 and number 5.
Yes. Accused number 7 njoba appear with statement sami akusiyena umuntu ebengimbonile angimazi.
Ngicela uphinde le statement eqotho senza manje.
Picture number 7
Yes.
njoba ikhona lapha ku statement.
Okay.
Ngeke ngiqinisekise ukuthi umthokoziseni Mapisa o lo page number
On
7.
picture number 7 or page number 7, I cannot confirm that the person appearing there is indeed Mtokoziseni Mapisa. Yebo.
Then page 23. Page 23 futhi ngoqinisekisile ukuthi angimazi oaccuse ome lapho angengicommente ngaso.
On page 23, I did confirm that I don't know the accused who is standing there. I cannot confirm that.
Ikakhulukazi bengibuza ngomgqoke isikipa esibomvu.
And especially I was being asked about the person wearing a red t-shirt.
Now, counsel for accused number 5 cross-examine you about the name Mtogo, whom you said was introduced as the brother of accused number 4.
Ummeli wakhe ke umsolo wesihlanu kuzile ngegama lika Mthogo
That's not me, my lord.
Sorry, accused number 5.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I
Accused
don't
number,
recall that evidence.
sorry, accused number 5.
Let's repeat that assertion.
Counsel for accused number 5 questioned you about Mtogo. I'm sorry, I think counsel for accused number 4 questioned you about Mtogo, whom you said was introduced as the brother of accused number 4. Can you just clarify who imparted that knowledge to you? How did you come to know of that?
Uma ubuzwa ke ummeli wakhe accused number 4 mayelana negama ke lithi Mthogo wase uthi umuphendula ke wachazwa ke kuwena ke nanjengomuntu noma wethulwa ke kuwena nanjengomfowabo ka accused number 4 Mthogo. Awusho ke ukuthi ubani loyo owakunika leyo information noma ubani owakunika lolo lwazi lolo ukuthi Mthogo umfowabo ka accused number 4.
Njengoba ngihamba naye uMthogo mangihamba ngisuke eFulsilorus futhi uyena ogcina ngimdropa ngamdropa egarage igama lakhe uMthogo kodwa kusiyena accused number 4. owakamaphisa naye akusiyena kodwa accused number 4 wakubo uma ukuthi abahlobene nivumile kulokho mayithina akahlobene nabo kodwa ngolwazi lami bengazithonga kubo.
I was traveling with with Mtogo, and he's the last person that I dropped at the garage, and his name is Mtogo. And what I knew is that he's also from Mapisa, but I then, when it was then said to me that they are not related, I then said, okay, I then concede that they then are not related. But according to my knowledge, I knew him to be from Mapisa, to be a Mapisa.
And just the last aspect, Constable Zungu. Counsel for accused number 5 asked you as to what description of accused number 2 did you see in the identity kit that appeared in the newspaper article on the 28th of October 2014. You then answered that when you look at the suspect in that newspaper article, you saw accused number 2. Can you clarify as to what is it in the identity kit that resembled accused number 2?
Ubuziwe-ke ummeli wakhe-ke u-accused number 5 ukuthi-ke uma ubona noma-ke kuleyo identity kit owayibona-ke kwi-newspaper yange-28 zika-October 2014 wasuthi wena-ke ubona u-accused number 2 ukuthi-ke yini le owayibona-ke kuleyo identity kit kuleyo newspaper leyo eyakwenza-ke ukuthi usho ukuthi u-accused number 2.
Ukuqinisekisa nje ngabona ngendlela akwayigqoke ngakhona nangendlela ukuthi waphuma phambi kwami mabe ngithetha ngaphakathi endlini waphuma yena kubo bonke ephuma eya main room yilokho kwangenza kube nesiqiniseko ukuthi ngimbone kahle futhi ngiyamkhumbula ukuthi wayigqoke ihood eblack.
It's what he was wearing, or the manner in which he was wearing on the day, and also on the day in Foster's, my lord, as I was speaking there, and he left the room just right in front of me, and I could then see that he was wearing a black hoodie.
Nokuyichange kwakhe lokho kwangiqinisekisa ukuthi ngimsolo ukuthi why changing.
Also the fact that he changed it, my lord, that's what then brought the suspicion as to why did he change it.
Just one aspect, my lord, with the permission of the court, all counsel referred to this identity kit. We just want to show this witness an identity kit just for him to say whether or not that is the identity kit that was shown to him. Just that aspect, my lord.
Counsels, Mr. P.
My Lord, I'm going to object to that. No picture was referred to in evidence in chief relating to the identity kit. He only gave the description. I only now, in my clarification, only asked whether it was an identity kit or an image. I didn't refer him to any such actual identity kit itself. So I'm going to object to that, my Lord.
Mr. Nisi?
I think that is going to be a third-party material, something that was Mr. Ramos really was not accorded the opportunity to do. Same analogical to the state in respect of this aspect.
Mr. Romano?
My Lord, I also asked him about the identity kits which appeared. I also asked him about the identity kits which appeared on the newspaper. There was no picture of the identity kit which was shown to the witness under cross-examination.
So Mr. Luis wants to show you. You want to show them the witness what?
Just an identity kit.
Where does it originate from? The newspaper or where?
The witness can. Well, Mr. Counsel for accused number 4 mentioned that. Warrant Officer Steenekamp. Yes.
That identity kit, from where does it originate?
Yes. It's from Warrant Officer Steenekamp, and if she comes to testify, she'll testify about that.
Yes, you're saying you did ask about the identity kit, Mr. Ngomalo, and what happened?
I did ask him about the identity kit which was shown on the newspaper. I did not show him any identity kit under cross-examination.
Oh, you asked him about what he was not seeing?
I asked him about what he saw on the newspaper, the identity kit which was shown on the newspaper.
I see. Yes, ma'am.
Also, my lord, I've never made any reference as the state suggests, my lord. It's a wrong referral on my side. I've never referred the witness to that identity kit. in my cross-examination. I only referred, my lord, to the newspaper.
Well, my lord,
You, oh, sorry, wait, Mr. You say you only referred to the newspaper. What were you referring to the newspaper? Because I recall this witness said there were actually two, he calls it pictures, images, which were counterbalanced on the newspaper, which he says he can't recall, but he thinks it was a Citizen. You recall that evidence? Yes.
Yes, my lord. I remember making reference to the newspaper, but not to the exhibit that is suggested by my learned friend now.
So that doesn't originate from the newspaper cutting,
Yes.
Mr.
well,
Baloyi?
the cross-examination was, what description of accused 2 did you see in the sketch plan? That is what counsel for accused number 5 asked.
And what was the answer?
And the answer was, when I look at the suspect that is now on that sketch plan, I saw accused number 2.
Right. But this witness pertinently mentioned that he actually saw either a picture or an image in one of the newspapers.
Yes.
Or pertinently says it could have been the Citizen.
Yes.
Do we recall that evidence, Mr. Ramsey?
Yes.
I do, my lord.
Yes.
So he was referring to an identity kit. Was
My
he
lord,
not?
let's put it contextually.
Ah,
Witnesses before that were in the house have testified, and this identity kit was never shown to them to comment thereon. Specifically regarding what Advocate Ngumalo referred to, it was for the identity kit of the person with dreadlocks.
no, that's not the question I'm asking.
Yes,
This question is limited to this witness.
yes.
According to Mr. Baloyi, he wants to show this witness to identify whether the image which he's going to show him, which he refers to as an identity kit, is the one which he perused in one of the newspapers. Is that not what you're trying to suggest?
Indeed, my lord.
And I'm saying to you, did this witness ever refer to an identity image or kit or picture in a newspaper? That's all.
He did, my lord.
Right. So what's the problem with him being shown that? If he did refer to it, Mr. Mnisi argued that is new evidence. Is this new evidence?
My lord, it's totally different. If Mr. Baloyi says, we are going to present you what is a clip or an extract from the newspaper, I think he said it was a Citizen or whatever. Is this what you were referring to in your evidence in chief? Then that or in your cross-examination, that is going to be something different. But now to come and introduce a paper that we do not know, actually a paper that comes from Stiene Camp, is something totally different. Because this information, this witness did not get it from Stiene Camp. He was only told that these are the images that were drawn by Stiene Camp, but he got them from the newspaper. Let the state introduce that newspaper, and we will be very glad as well to have a copy of such a newspaper.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Mumari.
My lord, if it is an article from the newspaper, I will have no problem. If it is an extract from the newspaper, I will have no problem.
If it's an extract from a paper,
Yes.
you have a problem.
Of the newspaper.
Listen to
Of
me.
the newspaper.
If it's an article from a paper, not a newspaper, a paper, you have a problem.
I have
If
a
it's an
problem.
article from a newspaper, you don't have a
I
problem.
don't have a problem.
But both these are contained in a paper or a document.
The newspaper which he read.
Right, ma'am? Sholod.
My lord, I object. Even if it's an evidence from the paper or from the newspaper, it cannot be introduced during re-examination because it was never introduced during examination in chief.
The last word for you, Mr.
As a court case, my lord, I've indicated to my learned friends why we didn't want to introduce that evidence, but they themselves, out of their own accord, introduced that evidence. Now, we hear about this identity kit that was shown to the witness, but the court is absolutely in the dark as to what was shown to this witness. We submit that it is important that the witness be afforded the opportunity to say, this is the identity kit that was shown to me, or he can say it's not.
Yeah, thanks. My ruling is that it can be shown. The reasoning will be supplied later.
As a court, please.
Okay.
Now, just a clarification, I'm just stopping that way. Is this now the images that are from the newspaper?
Ask your learned colleague.
Yes, that's.
Yes, I can't do it in a direct way. I should
No,
take
ask
note
him,
of
because he's introducing the evidence.
Yes, that's what we've just asked the witness.
that. Is that from the newspaper?
Yes.
It's a newspaper thing.
Yes, the image that you saw.
We have just said, my lord, we are going to request that we also be furnished with the clip of that newspaper or the cutting of that newspaper as well.
I also object, my lord, we are not in possession of what is being referred to the witness now. It's new evidence which has not been disclosed to us. I therefore object, my lord, to the referral of that picture.
Yeah, but I'm giving a ruling. And you know what? This ruling is made in terms of Art versus Epworth, 1928. We all read it. We can read it again if you want us to read it. It's based on that reasoning. That this court is an administrator of justice, and it must see to it that justice is seen to be done, and it is indeed done. And that no person in this court is going to be credited with taking a point, like the defense is taking the points.
And my lord, without casting aspersions on anyone, we did provide exactly, this document to
On the
all,
list of the new exhibits.
to all council. Yes, we did provide.
I've got it. I saw this. It's not the first time I see it. Is it the first time you see this document, Mr. Ramsipidi?
It may have been furnished.
Hello?
I don't know.
Was it?
It may have been furnished as part of disclosure.
I saw this. I saw this. It's in my list of exhibits. Can you tell us what's...
My lord, we did furnish it to the defense, but we told them as to why we're not leading evidence on that. But they chose to introduce the topic. Hence, we're just asking the witness just to identify if...
Now, let's take it through. Mr.
If he can.
Baloyi, you say you did furnish that document
Yes.
to all the councils here?
Yes. we
All
did.
of them?
Yes, all of them, my lord.
I specifically don't have it, my lord, because if I had it, it would have been very simple for me when Zande was testifying and introduced this image. and
Okay,
say,
so Mr. Mnisi, you
"Zande,
say,
is this what you
sorry,
said?"
Mr. Mnisi, you say Mr. Baloyi never gave you that.
I say I don't have it.
No, that's not my question.
Yes.
He never gave you, not that you have it or you don't have it. He says he furnished it to you,
Yes.
to Mr. Ramosepidi,
Yes.
Mr. Ngomalo, and Ms. Mshololo. That's what he says. I gave it. I furnished it.
Yes.
Is that not what you're saying, sir?
Yes, indeed, my lord, we
I
did.
don't have it.
Yeah, that's another story.
Yes. It could have.
I've played the
but
lotto,
I
but
don't
I've
have
never
it.
won it.
Excuse me.
I've played the lotto, but I've never won it.
The court said you played football, but you never scored.
Yes, something like similar to that. Okay, Mr. Mshololo. The gentleman, Baloyi, says he furnished that document to all of you.
My lord, this document was never disclosed to me by the state.
Mr. Ngomalo?
The only document that I have is the one reflecting the person with dreadlocks. I did not. I was not
What document
finished
what document is it?
with this one.
Show it to your colleagues. Where do you get that document from?
It formed part of further particulars.
It's obvious the gentleman on that document is the one who's not having a hoodie. Is that not so,
No.
Mr. Ramosepidi?
No, where they are together. I don't have.
I say that one. It's the same person who is on the right-hand side, who's
Yes.
not wearing a hoodie. Is
Yes.
that not so?
Yes.
Where did you get that document?
It was furnished to us by the state.
Mr. Mshololo, is the first time you see that document?
My lord, it looks as if there is a confusion, my
No,
lord.
there's no confusion. Have you been furnished with that document?
This document does not depict, my lord, what
Have
is
you
referred.
been furnished with that document? What's the difficulty here?
Yes, my lord, the evidence of a facial image analysis report, we have been furnished with that. But this does not contain what is depicted by the state there, my lord.
Okay, continue, Mr. Baloyi.
As a court, please, my lord, without, I can confirm we separately here in court. Each council, we gave them a copy of this, my lord.
You know, a court must rely on the integrity, honesty of counsels, because we're officers of the court. Here it is, here we're arguing about whether an officer of the court furnished other officers of the court with the document. Then it's no, yes, maybe not. Really? Okay, continue.
Yes, are you able to comment as to whether any of the image identikit was
njengoba ngibona lapha
contained in the article?
no right yeah ngaphendula engikubonayo accused number 2 kulesa sithombe.
Okay, what I see there is accused number 2, who is Mafika on that picture.
Which one?
Mupi.
On my right.
The witness says on his right.
Ufake ihoodie.
The one with the hoodie.
Thank you. Thank you, that is all.
Yeah. Any cross-examination arising from that, Mr. Ramusipiti?
My lord, none, because I'll have to consult on this.
Yeah, you can consult.
Okay. I mean, that's it. Perhaps two clarification questions, my lord. Now, if you look at that identity kit on the left with what you allege to be a schematic representation or ID kit of accused number 2, is this how the picture appeared in the newspaper article that you saw?
Yebo.
Yes.
Was it black and white or in color? That picture in the newspaper?
The newspaper.
Mangikhumbula ngicabanga black and white.
If I remember, I think it was in black and white.
Now, by looking at that, what tells you that that's a black hoodie that's been represented in that picture?
Manje ke uma ubheka lapha yini ekutshela ukuthi ihoodie eblack leya?
Njengoba injani njengoba igqokile ingangendlela futhi athi mayiphuma ayigqoke ngakhona uma afika endlini yiye ngenza ukuthi ngibe neshoyo ukuthi uye lo yamsolosoleka lapha.
As it is appearing there, that is exactly the same manner in which he had it on, or he put it on when he left the house, and that's exactly what made me to say that that's him there.
And furthermore, recall, when I asked my clarification questions, I asked you whether or not accused number 2 in particular had dreadlocks on the 24th of August, 26th of August 2014, correct? You remember that?
Ngikhumbula ke ngikubuzile ngokuthi wayena dreadlocks yini nge-26 October 2014 yakhumbula ngithi?
Yebo
Yes,
ngiyakhumbula.
I remember.
Now, I know you did not participate in the compilation of this identity kit, but if you look towards the back of the hoodie, you will see what look like dreadlocks that also come up to the neck level. Would it be fair to say that?
Ngiyazi ukuthi ungasiyona ke noma ungasiyona ingxenye yokuhlanganisa ke noma yokwenza le identity, kodwa uma ubuka ke isithombe lesiyana uzobona ukuthi la emuva ke okuvelile la kulokubukeka ngathi ama dreadlocks.
Lokho ngengicomment ngakho ukuthi kuvela kanjani ama dreadlocks kodwa engakhomenta ngakho indlela ayigqoke ngakhona nangendlela andlula ngakhona phambi kwami.
I wouldn't comment on that or how it is appearing or how the dreadlocks are appearing, but what I can comment on is how he was wearing it and the manner in which he passed right in front of me.
And also with regard to the beard that is represented there, especially that aspect regarding the beard here, even now in court, if I may ask accused number 2 to remove his hand, he doesn't have that type of beard that also other witnesses testify that he had.
Okay. Yeah,
This one below the lip. Yeah.
Engayigunda phela le 2014 la 2023.
This is 2023, that was 2014. He can shave it, but it's him.
Do you want to have a close look whether or not he does shave?
Angiyidingi ngiyaqinisekisa ukuthi uye lona.
I don't need it. I'm assuring you that it is him.
Accused number 2 instructs me that he's never had that beard. He doesn't grow that beard here.
Uthi
even to this
akakaze
day.
benayo le lapha phakathi nendawo. Akakaze benayo.
Khumbula kusimini wayidraw ukuthi mhlawumbe wayidraw wayifaka noma wayeyikundile ngeke lokho nguqinisekisa.
I'm the one. Sorry, I'm not the one who compiled it. As to whether the one who compiled it drew it or made it to be there, I cannot confirm that.
But when you allegedly saw him on the night in question of this incident, he did not have this beard, correct?
Ngeke uqinisekise ukuthi wayenayo ngaleso sikhathi noma wayenayo manje. Engushoyo ukuthi kodwa yena ukubukeka kwakhe wayefana nalo engangembone kulize ithombe.
I cannot confirm that as to whether he had it at the time, but when I looked at him, that he looked exactly the same as the one that was in those pictures.
You are not certain of so many things. What are you exactly certain about regarding this incident of the 26th of October 2014?
Uqinisekisa ukuthi abasola kuleyo nto yibo labangaphambi kwale nkantolo.
That I can to assure you, I'm certain that the suspects that are being alleged to have committed the crime are the ones that are in front of the court or before the court.
Finally, accused number 2 will deny that this schematic representation resembles him in any manner, shape or form.
Phikisana ke umsolo wesibili ukuthi lo obulapha yana ke ukuthi ufana naye ke noma umuntu nje osondele noma ufana naye lo okwesa sithombe. Uyaphikisa lokho.
Uqamba manga.
He's telling lies.
There's the court basis.
Yes, Mr. Nisi.
Mr. Zungu, you know, out of fairness and nature forgive me. As I look at that picture of the person that is, or the image of the person who's wearing a hoodie, and as I'm saying nature forgive me, he looks to me to have similar features that as I am looking at you. Now, that says to me, it's a very, it's like when one says utilizing the eyes of the beholder. Because to me, that picture resembles you. To you, resembles accused number 2. To another person, it might resemble a gentleman who's standing just next to you.
Eh? Let me put my specs on.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah, Mr. Mamalo.
Thank you, my lord. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Yes.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Shalom.
Thank you, my lord. I have no questions.
Thank you. Is that it, Mr. Baloi?
That's it, madam.
Okay, thank you, sir,
Kabonga.
for your assistance. So that will be, that disputed document will be exhibit what?
It will be exhibit,
Number?
In BB now.
Exhibit?
BB,
BB.
yes.
As it is a court matter, apparently accused number 3 wants to see me.
I can't stop him. What's that?
He's requesting an indictment that are approaching. I'm
Yes,
requesting
yes.
an indictment that are approaching.
Are we going to take the short adjournment or are we proceeding?
What's the time now, Mr. Baloi?
11:15.
11:15.
11:15. Yeah, we can take the break. Come back.
I'm gonna let you